Record.
Mhm.
Okay, recording in progress. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm sorry. I feel like you can't really.
No, don't apologize. Teams is rough. But yeah, that's why I'm always like, yeah, Teams always
I,
gives me a hard time too.
I'm more familiar with Zoom because my
Yeah,
first 2 years of college, that was like all I did. I did all of my classes on Zoom, so the Teams kind of threw me off.
yeah, no worries.
Okay, so I want to start with asking you to just please state your name and professional title.
Yeah, I'm so my name is Oscar Yanis, and my professional title. So I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, so an LCPC, and I direct a mobile crisis response team that is partnered with the National Suicide Hotline.
Great. And can you please tell me how long you've been working as a mental health professional and just describe the type of clients that you work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the field for roughly about let's say it's been about 8 years if you count my internship. So I started my internship in 2016, graduated in 2017, and then have been in the field since then. So just kind of my roles in the field have changed a little bit throughout the years. Started with strictly counseling one-on-one. So I would see a wide variety. I would work with a lot of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Just working for the agency that works with them and provides housing. So that was kind of yeah, that was a population I worked with early on. But early on, I saw a bit of everything, individuals with schizophrenia, individuals with depression, anxiety, trauma. So I worked with a wide variety, children, adults, all of it. Yes, early on, I got to see a little bit of everything. And now I work with, right now, I do counseling one-on-one with a few individuals, um, ages of anything from or young adults to kind of middle age is my range. Oh no, and I do work with I do have a couple of kids on my caseload that I do work with as well. So kind of anywhere between about like 7 to 14, I'm working with a couple of individuals in that age group. So yeah, I kind of see a little bit of everything. But regarding just like the work, like the crisis work that I do now, the program itself, we work with anyone of any age. So, I mean, we've had individuals that call that are in their late 80s, 90s. And then we also have occasionally adolescents that call, sometimes kids. We're working with them. So, yeah, the crisis program itself, we serve anyone of any age.
Thank you.
Hmm.
And can you please tell me if you describe yourself as a religious person? And if so, what religion and denomination do you belong to?
Yeah, I am a Catholic. So, yeah, Christian, so Catholic. Yeah, so I do consider myself a religious person. Like I'm faith-based, grew up in a Roman Catholic Hispanic household. So kind of grew up going to the church. My mom was very involved in the church. So yeah, my whole life been engaged in the church in one way or another.
Okay. And do you believe that there's any benefit or risk of religion to mental health?
There's a huge benefit. I believe there's a huge benefit, and regardless of your faith or regardless of your religion. I mean, there's studies that show that individuals that have are faith-based or spiritual, like have something like that. I mean, there's so many benefits when it comes to health and mental health itself. Just believing that, hey, there's something after this as well, or believing like, hey, like, just kind of having the moral compass. So yeah, there's huge benefits to that. To the field itself, yeah, I don't think you have to have a moral compass or be spiritual when it comes to like being in the field, but I think it is beneficial. I mean, I think I am a person where my moral compass and my belief system does like it is kind of like a foundation. So it does kind of direct me in where I go or points my moral compass. So that kind of does in one way or another, I guess you could say translates into everything that I do, like outside of work, but also inside of work as well.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Do you address religious issues with your clients? And if so, could you explain how you do it?
Yeah, so I work a lot from a value-based perspective, right? So, if a person values their family, right? One of the things that we work on is, are we living in accordance to our value, right? You may say my family is my value, or yeah, my family system is my values. But if they're spending more time at the bar than they are with their family, spending more time at work than they are with their family, then it's like, okay, how can we realign your values? Because it may be a value, but you're not living according to your value. And for a lot of individuals that are spiritual, that do have, are faith-based, for many of them, one of their values may be their religious or their beliefs, right? So it's like, okay, we work at from, if that's one of your values, we look and see, are you living in accordance to it? If not, how can we adjust that? What are things that we could do to get you a little bit closer to your faith? Um, get you more involved with the church, things of that sort. I don't myself disclose a whole lot regarding my belief or my faith, just because I've gotten the opportunity to work with individuals from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of beliefs. And at least with me, I work on tailoring therapy around them and their beliefs and their values. But occasionally, I do disclose a little bit that yes, I am, faith-based. Or like I am like myself faith-based, I don't necessarily always incorporate it into my work. Um, but yeah, I mean, occasionally I do disclose it if I find it beneficial. Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
In your professional formation, did you receive any training regarding mental health and religion?
Yes, Trinity did have a class, and I think they still do. The class was taught by a pastor actually, and he would talk about just theoretical orientations and utilizing just the Christian belief. And it was very intriguing, very nice. Like in any course you're gonna take at Trinity, at one point or another, like religion comes up or faith-based comes up. But yeah, especially I noticed that in the counseling when it would come to theoretical orientations. Um, Especially with this professor, he was a pastor, and like I said, he really incorporated just the belief system into theoretical orientation. So, and which is very nice, to be able to do that.
That's cool to hear.
Hmm.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the relationship between psychology and Christianity, and do you see any benefit or risk in it?
Um, I see a whole lot of benefit in it. At the end of the day, like you're serving others, right? When you're doing therapy, you're serving and trying to assist others. Um, and one of the benefits to it is just, if you're going off your Christian values, that could help shape your theoretical orientation. Now, there's counseling places where it solely focuses on Christian, or religious therapy or faith-based therapy. Um, I know I have a colleague that's a former colleague. She worked with us and then went fully into like kind of like Christian counseling or counseling based off of just kind of Christian perspective. Um, and yeah, there's a whole lot of benefits to it because you're bringing in those values into the counseling session, and you could utilize those to help guide you and help work on like whatever therapeutic goals you have. So yeah, I think there's a whole lot of benefits. The only time I think it would be maybe not a benefit is if you're working with someone that is of a different um, belief base, right? Whether it's Islam, Jewish, Hindu, whatever it is. But then at that point, that's where, at least in my field, I don't bring, I could bring up their faith and how that's a value and how we could utilize that to guide us throughout their periodic journey. But I don't. I'm big on. I mean, it would be unethical to impose your own beliefs onto someone else. Mm.
I agree. What would your advice be for a psychology major student regarding psychology, mental health, religion, and
Right.
spirituality?
I think first thing is kind of making sure that we're aligned with our values. We're, if spirituality or Christianity is something that we're practicing like in the therapeutic setting, also like making sure that we practice it ourselves in our own lives. I think that's very huge. But yeah, I think just the most education that you have is just very beneficial in any regard. Whether you're doing therapy based on through religion, or if you're just utilizing just regular techniques, not necessarily utilizing religion. I think regardless, education and just continuous training is important. But yeah, I think it's very beneficial. Like I said, for me, it religion is something that plays a big role in my life. So um, I can understand it being something very big for others as well. So being able to work from that perspective is huge.
And finally, to conclude this interview, I want to ask if you have any other comments or advice that you would like to provide to myself and to my class.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you, yeah, like what is there anything that you want to know? Anything that you feel like, hey, you know what, like what's the field? Because I know you're ready to kind of prepare and go into grad school. I don't know if you've already decided where.
I haven't decided where, but I do
Mhm.
want to go to grad school. And I would say my main question slash concern
Mhm.
wanting to be a Christian psychologist, how do you work with people of other faith but still guide them and lead them to God without feeling like you're disobeying the
Mhm.
God that you worship?
Very true. Oh, that's a great question. I think because that's a great question. I think part of it goes back to like my foundations, right, of my Christian belief, and I always look at like you know I'm big on respecting everyone, despite their beliefs. Like, Jesus always says, like, love your brother and your sister, right? So despite what their beliefs are, whatever it is, I want to help guide them and assist them, whatever the way that is, whether they're Christian, whether they're Buddhist, whether they're Muslim. Um, if that's kind of their moral compass, if that's their value, then I want to help guide them, right? So I put my beliefs to the side, although, hey, as a Christian, I have these beliefs and this way of living. I'm going to put that to the side because I'm working with this person, and this is this person's reality. So I try to support that in any way that I can, right? Um, Going back to like not imposing my beliefs, right? I could challenge or I could ask questions, but I don't want to impose, hey, this is what you should be doing, or this is what I feel you should learn more about, or things of that sort. I want to respect them for them, right? And I want to treat them like I would anyone else, So I guess I go about it in that perspective. I think I mentioned in class, like, I mean, I've worked with individuals that, um, just atheists or just don't believe in anything, just not faith-based. And I put that to the side because it's like, I want to work with them. They're still human. They have a right to their own belief. They have a right to their own way of life. Their way of life may not be one that I agree with, but you know, God tells me to treat others with respect, treat others like, my brothers and sister, and I'm going to do that for this person, right? So I put my kind of beliefs to the side and work from where they're at. And hey, if throughout time maybe they get closer to their belief or their religion, wonderful, but I want to help them out in that moment. So I guess I look at it as there, like, regardless of your belief, I'm going to treat you like a brother or sister because that's what my religious and my belief teaches me. Um, Now it may be a little different working in a non-for-profit agency where we accept anyone. It probably looks different working in a Christian perspective or like Christian like counseling agency because you are so more so focusing from the Christian perspective. So it may look different there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that answer helps me understand that even if you are working with other people of different faith, you're still obeying God's command to treat everybody like your brother and sister in Christ,
Hmm.
despite if they believe in Christ or not.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I look. That's how I look at it. In therapy, but also I try to look at it outside of life as well. Like I've had the most beautiful conversations with individuals from different beliefs, and like it's just I love seeing someone very strong in their faith, regardless of the faith, right? Um, because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just a reminder, like it's important to be, strong in my faith as well. But yeah, I've had the most wonderful conversations with individuals of different beliefs, and it's just kind of incredible, and I try to respect that as well.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. What class is this for?
This is for Christian perspectives on psychology. So it's my capstone class.
Okay.
So it's the integration of psychology and Christianity and trying our best to bridge that gap and
Okay.
understand, how are we going to be able to move forward in our education, in our career, but also stand firm in our faith.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, like I said, despite working with individuals from different beliefs and things of that sort, like I try to be strong in my faith as well. Like I believe what I believe. Um, yeah, no, I think that's an incredible class to take, especially kind of going down this field and the career you're
Yes.
looking for as well.
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you so
so
much for being willing
absolutely.
to participate. I felt like you would be a great candidate, and hopefully my class enjoys watching this interview because I will be having to play this in class for everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I look forward to hearing how it goes. So
Thank you so much, Professor. I'll see you tomorrow.
not a problem. Sounds good. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.